What if you won a massive prize, but the whole world wanted to kill you for it? And if you managed to survive the entire day, you'd never have to work again. The story begins in the city of Los Angeles. We see a man running desperately through the streets, with an angry mob chasing right behind him. Many of them are armed with sharp weapons, clearly out for his blood. From the scene, it's obvious. The entire city seems to have turned against this man. As he runs frantically through the streets, he finds himself cornered in an alley by three people wielding weapons. Just before they can attack, he somehow manages to fight his way out and escape with his life. While fleeing, he bursts into a nearby house where an old woman happens to be. Without hesitation, the man snatches her phone and smashes it to pieces. Meanwhile, we see that not only the crowd but also a drone has been tracking his every move, relaying his exact location. Everything suggests that this man must have committed a serious crime, perhaps something huge, and now the entire city is hunting him down. Exhausted, he finally stops to catch his breath, but before he can calm down, the old woman suddenly comes up behind him, says, "I'm sorry," and kills him on the spot. Right after that, she tears up her lottery ticket and contacts the organizers, proudly announcing that she's the winner of today's game. Soon, the lottery team arrives. They check the man's body and confirm, yes, the previous winner is dead. With that confirmation, the team immediately hands the old woman a $2 million prize check, and everyone around begins to celebrate her victory. The scene then shifts to a bus where we meet a young woman named Katie. She has recently come to California to chase her dream of becoming an actress. In her hands, she holds a mini Oscar statuette, a gift from her mother, something she keeps close as a symbol of hope and motivation. On the bus, Katie notices a little girl sitting nearby with her father. The man is on the phone, constantly complaining about his daughter to his wife. Unable to tolerate his behavior, Katie decides to step in, pretending to be a police officer and warning him that bad-mouthing or mentally abusing a child could actually get him into serious trouble. Her quick wit and boldness immediately impress an old lady sitting beside her, who compliments her for her courage. A few minutes later, the bus stops and the old lady gets off. But soon, Katie realizes something. Her watch is missing. That old woman had stolen it. By now, there's nothing she can do, so she just sighs and stares out of the window. Outside, chaos unfolds. People are violently attacking one another. Everyone seems bloodthirsty, consumed by madness. Just then, Katie's eyes catch a huge advertisement for the Lewis Protection Agency, LPA, a private security company. She thinks to herself, someday, I'll have my own bodyguards too. After a while, Katie finally arrives at the place where she has rented her new room. Meanwhile, across the city, the media is buzzing with constant coverage about the next lottery draw, which is just 18 hours away. The entire country seems obsessed with it. Then we're introduced to a man named Neil, who's at home humming a tune while carefully preparing his weapons. At the same time, Katie meets her new roommate, Shady. But the moment she steps inside, she realizes that Shady had lied about the room in her online listing. It's nothing like the pictures, messy, cramped, and unsettling. Shady herself seems odd, constantly talking, restless, and behaving strangely. While chatting with Katie, Shady keeps getting calls from her mother, which she pointedly ignores. A little later, Shady's boyfriend DJ arrives. While handing Katie the keys to the house, he slaps her jokingly, but Katie is shocked by this sudden, inappropriate behavior. The next day, a TV commercial featuring Neil appears, where he promotes his services, offering protection to future lottery winners. Meanwhile, Katie is getting ready for an audition that could be her big break. But right before she leaves, water starts dripping from the ceiling, forcing her to deal with an unexpected mess. Katie's clothes get completely ruined, leaving her with no choice but to borrow an outfit from Shady, even though she doesn't want to. But her troubles don't stop there. She books a cab and heads for her audition. The cab driver keeps boring her with random conversations and even mentions that the famous rapper Kali owns his own underground bunker. When Katie finally reaches the audition hall, a girl at the desk demands $400 just to let her audition. During her turn, Katie tells them that she's acted in several commercials as a child, but had to take a break from acting because her mother fell ill. As she pulls out her script from her pocket, she accidentally activates her lottery ticket, and unbelievably, she wins the jackpot. Unfortunately, her audition performance doesn't go well, and she's thrown out of the hall. But outside, chaos erupts. News spreads across the entire city that Katie is the new lottery winner. According to the twisted rules, whoever kills her before sunset will become the next jackpot winner. Inside the audition venue, the other girls recognize Katie's face from the ticket and are completely shocked. Within seconds, greed takes over. They all attack her viciously. Katie barely escapes with her life and runs downstairs, hiding inside a random room. But her luck runs out. She's stumbled into a judo training center. The students, blinded by greed, also attack her. Using the little stage fighting training she has, Katie fights back and narrowly survives. But the attackers just keep coming. Suddenly, the judo master throws her straight into a nearby yoga class. And the yoga girls, realizing who she is, also rush to kill her. They use whatever they can find, bats, swords, even yoga bars. At that moment, the judo master grabs Katie by the neck, ready to finish her, when suddenly a man crashes in from the ceiling. It's Neil. He saves Katie, throws the master aside, and offers her a deal. He'll kill the first 5 attackers for free, but after that, she'll owe him 10% of her jackpot in exchange for full protection. With no other option, Katie agrees and signs the contract. Neil immediately turns into a killing machine, taking down everyone in sight, even using Katie herself as a weapon. But Katie still doesn't trust him. She secretly grabs his paralysis gun and warns him to stay back, but Neil effortlessly disarms her. In one swift move, he takes a martial artist's belt and uses it as a weapon, striking down the rest. When the fight ends, Neil calmly arranges the fallen bodies and tells Katie that things are about to get much worse. A drone has been tracking them, sharing their location every 14 minutes through her active lottery ticket. They need to get out fast. As they escape the building, Neil explains the rules of the lottery. No one is allowed to use guns to kill, but anything thrown counts as a valid weapon. Just as he finishes, a man in a food truck throws a knife straight at them. Neil and Katie dodge and flee while the crowd starts chasing them through the streets. Meanwhile, Katie's location goes live again, and everyone nearby turns into a hunter. Among them is the same old woman who had stolen Katie's watch earlier. Armed with a gun, she joins the hunt too. Inside the car, Neil is stunned to learn that Katie knows nothing about the lottery system. Katie admits that she and her mother were always depressed and spent their time watching movies and cooking shows instead of the news. That's why she's clueless. Neil gives her a helmet for protection just as a group of bikers begins chasing them, throwing petrol bombs at the car. Luckily, the wind blows the flames out, but then, out of nowhere, a girl leaps onto their car, trying to kill Katie. Neil quickly hands over the steering wheel to Katie, grabs the attacker, puts a helmet on her, and throws her out of the car to save Katie. To hide, Neil drives the damaged car into a nearby garage, but the bikers chasing them don't give up so easily. Thinking fast, Neil decides to confuse them by spinning the car in circles and escaping through the back exit. As he speeds out, a wall blocks their way. Instead of stopping, Neil deliberately accelerates and smashes straight through it. The impact sends several of the bikers crashing hard to the ground. Once outside, Neil's car is nearly destroyed. So the two of them take refuge in an alley to plan their next move. But Katie still doesn't trust Neil. After all, in a city where everyone wants her dead, how can she be sure he's not waiting for the right moment to betray her too? Filled with suspicion, she suddenly punches him right in the nose, breaking it. Neil steadies himself while Katie tells him she just wants one thing: to get out of this deadly game for good. Neil explains that the only way to do that is by leaving the city entirely. Before they can decide what to do next, 2 police officers show up. Relieved, Katie thinks they'll protect her. But to her horror, the cops also turn on her, aiming to kill her for the jackpot. Neil steps forward, blocks their attack, and takes both of them down. Seizing the opportunity, Katie runs away to save herself. She dashes through the streets and hides inside a wax museum. But outside, the drone continues to track her, and exactly 14 minutes later, it broadcasts her new location to everyone again. Right then, Katie gets a call from Shady, pretending to check on her, but the background noises give it away. Shady isn't trying to help, she's hunting her. Hearing the sounds, Katie realizes she's close by, probably in the same museum. Katie hides behind the wax statues, barely breathing, as Shady and her boyfriend DJ storm in. They quickly find her, and a brutal fight breaks out between the three. After a fierce struggle, Katie manages to push a heavy statue onto them, knocking them down, and runs out of the museum. But the real nightmare begins outside. Now, the entire city knows her exact location. Dozens of people swarm toward her, attacking from all directions. Just when it looks like Katie won't make it, Neil crashes in, driving a police car like a true action hero. He picks her up, and together they race away to the mansion of the famous rapper Callie. Once inside, they pretend to be fans, doing exaggerated gestures and bad acting to convince him to open his panic room. The trick works, and they get inside. They finally sit down, exhausted, trying to rest for a while, though trusting a stranger like Callie isn't easy. In the quiet of the panic room, Neil and Katie start talking, sharing bits of their lives, fears, and what they love or hate. But their peace doesn't last. Soon, the mob reaches Callie's house. Since they don't know the password to the panic room, they're stuck outside, but not for long, because Shady and DJ arrive and join the crowd. Using her cunning, Shady drags Callie to the swimming pool and throws him in, hoping the shock of the cold water will make him reveal the password. The moment he blurts it out, Shady rushes toward the panic room door. Inside, Neil and Katie realize something terrible is coming. Wasting no time, Neil calls his old friend Lewis for backup. Outside, Lewis's security agency diverts attention by hacking and exploding everyone's phones, causing total chaos. Taking advantage of the confusion, Neil and Katie slip out of the mansion, only to see that After escaping the chaos, Lewis's protection agency team was already waiting for them outside. Soon, Katie and Neil arrive safely at the headquarters of Louis' agency. They are welcomed inside, and Louis immediately demands a 30% share of the lottery in exchange for their protection. After the deal, Katie and Neil are taken to the agency's medical facility where both of them receive first aid for their injuries. While there, Neil opens up to Katie and tells her that he once worked in the private sector with Louis. Their job was to hunt down and eliminate bad people. But when Neil dug deeper, he discovered that those people were never actually bad. They were innocent targets. Neil confronted Louis about this, but Louis refused to stop. So during one of their missions, Neil quit halfway through. And because of that, everyone in his old unit except him was killed. Feeling guilty, Neil now donates all the money he earns to the families of his fallen teammates. Hearing this, Katie is deeply moved and starts to see Neil in a different light. Just then, a special machine is brought in. With its help, the agency creates a new mask for Katie, one that completely changes her face so no one can recognize her. Once preparations are complete, the agents get ready to escort Katie out. But Neil quickly warns her that the agency isn't protecting them at all. They're actually planning to kill her for the lottery prize. He explains that running such a massive agency requires huge funds, something a 30% cut from any lottery can't cover. The truth is, everyone who comes to them for protection ends up losing their life and money. Neil comes up with a plan. He tells Katie to sneak into one of the cars parked outside. It's set to drive automatically, so she'll escape easily. Katie understands the plan and finally trusts Neil completely. However, Louis tries to take Katie away alone in another vehicle. Katie refuses, insisting that Neil goes wherever she goes. When Louis declines, Katie takes advantage of a moment and kicks him hard. At the same time, Neil opens the main door, allowing the angry crowd outside to storm into the headquarters. Because Katie is wearing the new mask, no one recognizes her. The mob rushes past her without touching her, and Katie uses the chaos to slip into a car and escape. The agents can only watch as she drives away. Now, her only goal is to get out of the city. Until she does, everyone will keep hunting her. The agency quickly begins tracking her location, but they soon capture Neil instead. Meanwhile, Katie takes control of the car's manual mode, but doing so reveals her exact coordinates to the agency. Louis calls her via video and threatens that if she doesn't reach the location he specifies within the given time, he'll kill Neil. Left with no choice, Katie turns the car around and drives straight toward Louis's chosen spot. Louis takes Neil to an abandoned theater where he plans to end things. Soon after, Katie arrives there with a small gun in her hand. She faces Louis and demands him to release Neil, or else she'll shoot herself. Neil pleads with her not to, but Katie warns Louis that if she dies, the entire lottery will end instantly, and he'll get nothing. Hearing this, Louis calms down and walks toward her, asking her to hand over the gun. But as he gets close, Katie suddenly kicks him down and uses her live stream camera to broadcast everything, exposing the truth to her fans and the whole world. She reveals that LPA, Louis' security agency, is nothing but a fake and greedy organization that murders its own clients to steal their lottery money. However, because the stream is live, everyone watching now knows her exact location. Armed citizens and hunters rush to the theater, eager to kill her for the prize. As Katie runs to free Neil, Louis grabs her leg, pulling her down and trying to shoot her with her own gun. She struggles and narrowly escapes. But now, waves of people arrive, surrounding her from all sides, everyone desperate to be the one who kills her first and claims the massive reward. Katie quickly throws a key toward Neil, helping him unlock his restraints. Seeing this, Louis charges toward her to finish her off, but Neil intervenes just in time, grappling with Louis. Katie tries to flee, but before she can reach the exit, Shady appears, armed with a sword. A brutal fight begins between the two. Shady slashes at her, but Katie headbutts her, knocking her unconscious. More and more attackers flood in. Neil shouts that only 4 minutes remain until the lottery ends, urging Katie to climb up fast. She does as he says. Meanwhile, the LPA agents also arrive, forcing Neil to fight them off to buy her time. Louis, enraged, goes after Katie himself. With just a few minutes left on the clock, he shows her the bombs strapped to his chest, threatening to blow everything up unless she surrenders. But Katie doesn't listen to Louis and starts running away. Furious, Louis chases her down and begins brutally beating her. Struggling to escape, Katie falls and ends up hanging from a metal pipe. At that moment, Louis tells her the shocking truth, that while working with Neil, he used to earn money by killing members of his own unit. Hearing this, Neil is devastated, realizing that all these years he had been blaming himself for something Louis had done. During their intense fight, Katie manages to pull the pin out of one of Louis's grenades. It explodes, killing Lewis instantly, and Katie falls downward from the pipe. Meanwhile, the countdown for the lottery finally reaches 0. The game is over. As soon as the time runs out, all the people who had been desperately trying to kill Katie suddenly stop and instead rush forward to save her. After being rescued, Katie presses her thumb on the lottery ticket, officially claiming her victory. The show's host arrives, congratulates her, and hands her a massive prize check worth $3.6 billion amid grand celebration and cheers. After the celebration, Katie turns to Neol and says that she wants to donate 50% of her winnings to support the families of the soldiers who lost their lives. The scene then shifts 6 months later. We see that Neol has now started his own security agency, while Katie has opened a school for neglected children, a place for kids whose parents never cared for them. In the final scene, Katie and Neol are shown relaxing together on a peaceful yacht, enjoying their new life, smiling, free, and finally at peace. And with that, their story comes to a beautiful and satisfying end. If you enjoyed this thrilling journey, make sure to drop a like, share the video, and subscribe for more amazing movie recaps like this one. Let's hit 10,000 likes if you want the next part even sooner.